News reaching us onto the United Matters channel is really exciting, and this is some of the stories, or these are some of the stories that I've always gonna hate to look up to, because I know the rest of the people at Manchester United are okay. The rest of the departments are okay, apart from the midfield. That is the double pivot and the central attacking midfield of Manchester United. And this is where I get excitement when United is targeting Xavi Simons. Whether the deal is possible or not possible, but that shows you that they're really looking up to another player that can come and impact the game in the attacking phase of the midfield. Welcome to the United Matters channel. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic evening. This is Rock and David, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And this is the channel that brings you your latest United news. Strictly, we do Manchester United content, and I tell you what, if you expect anything not close to Manchester United, then you are really at a wrong zone in there for you. Only we do here is Manchester United, and this time around it's coming in from Brett Goal, and we are being told that the club of Manchester United remains interested in Xavi Simons. The club has always been keen on him. In addition to a striker, a versatile attacking midfielder is also being sought. The problem lies in the price. RB Leipzig is asking for 80 million euros. Now, let me first deal with the first statement they put out, that United remains interested. When you hint on remaining, that means even the previous past, you've been interested in signing a player known as Xavi Simons, and that is really right. That Man United were chasing in for Xavi Simons even last summer. They wanted to sign him on a loan, and PSG obviously gave the player a chance to opt where to go ahead and obviously play for, and returned at RB Leipzig. But the player is really very, very, very good, and they are telling us that his price is 80 million euros. Obviously, his numbers speak for himself, and there is no way a club is obviously going to come up and obviously sign this player at a very, very, very low rate when he's really putting in performances, and he's just into his early 20s. And players and their prices are determined by very many factors, and some of those are, one, their performances, and secondly, their age. When you look at Xavi Simons, he's just 21 years of age, and is making 22 years of age on the April of 21st. So that makes you not to wonder on why it's an 80 million euro deal for the club of PSG, and they want a lot from this guy. And his numbers are really self-speaking. Last season, he played 32 games into the Bundesliga. He scored 8 goals with 11 assists. Have you heard? That is 19 goal involvements in 32 games, And in the DFB Pokal Cup last year, he played 2 games, 0 goals and 0 assists. That means those were 34 games. Champions League, he played 8 games, taking his tally to 42, 2 goals and 2 assists, taking his tally to 10 goals and 13 assists in 40 appearances. So that makes him one of the best players that you can ever have at his age. And when you look at what he does into those small areas of the pitch, it makes you know that he's that kind of guy that will never disappoint. He is really talented. He is a multi-dimensional player, and that is one of the statements I've seen into this statement, that a versatile attacking midfielder is also being sought. Now, if you're talking about a versatile attacking midfielder, it's Xavi Simons. He can play as a number 10. I know he can play as a half number 9, and that he's really talented, and he can give you everything that you want at any time you request him to do. And why I love him is that I just imagine him, Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Amadi Diallo, Joshua Zexi, having them as options to play into that attacking midfield phase of Manchester United. I think he improves a lot into the attacking phase of Manchester United, because he's one of those players that I know that is not selfish. He'll create chances. That's why last season he had 11 assists in the league, and this season He has 5 assists and 7 goals in 18 games. It shows you that he's a player who will get you goals and will obviously create chances. That is Xavi Simons for you. So even we went ahead, obviously get a report coming in through from Quality Report Football that Xavi Simons is being watched by Manchester United, who are genuinely interested in the player's profile. However, the player's asking price remains quite high at £67 million. That is 80 million euros. Now, this is the problem of a deal like this, because if you are to get in Xavi Simons, you need to convince him that your project is really right. And do you think the project of Manchester United is the most appropriate or most attractive for a player known as Xavi Simons? However much I support Manchester United, I'll come up to let you know that for me it's a big no. It's not the most appropriate project for him, because teams that are really showing interest in him are really better. Man City, far better than Manchester United. Liverpool, far much better than Manchester United. Bayern Munich, far much better than Manchester United. Barcelona, far much better than Manchester United. Those are 4 teams that are really ahead of Manchester United. And unless otherwise, we qualify for the Champions League. That's when we can obviously enter this race. By the way, most of the players that we're really looking at or targeting can only be ours if at all we obviously qualify for the Champions League. Minus qualifying for the Champions League, I let you know that we won't be winning that race, because the teams we are competing with are playing the Champions League and Manchester United is not. That's why it's very important for us to win the UEFA Europa League, because if you're playing the Champions League, then convincing players like Xavi Simons to join the club of Manchester United will be as easy as taking water. You understand? It will be a piece of cake, because first and foremost, we will have gone ahead, obviously get to know that we are going to be getting in some huge monies from the Champions League, right? Then we'll be getting some £90 million from Adidas, then £60 million from Snapdragon, you understand? And obviously, we might obviously get ourselves a chance to play into the FIFA World Cup of the other coming years, not this year. So, I tell you what, with us having those sources confirmed that the offer is going to be coming in through, United will be like, we can spend huge this summer transfer window and maybe try to balance it up in the remaining 2 years of the 3-year phase of the financial fair play. You understand? So that's what Man United is going to be all about. And the beauty of knocking out Lyon when we return from the national break and going ahead to face, I think, Atletico Bilbao or Rangers, and then getting to the final and lift that trophy will come into play and obviously get us up and running. So that's exactly what I'm thinking about Xavi Simons. But I love the player. He's really not an injury-prone player. He's young. He ticks all the boxes of the Ineos plan of players they want to sign. And I know he brings in a very huge improvement into that midfield. And I think competition will be really huge, and the team of United will obviously have very many players that will do the job. And this obviously shows you that if at all United gets Xavi Simons, the story that Amadi Diallo will be played as a right wing back obviously comes to pass, because if you're having Unai Simon, that means he's going to be a starter. Now, Zexi, Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes will have to choose one who starts and who doesn't start. We have to choose one, and the two will obviously go to the bench. And Xavi Simons ticks all the boxes of a midfielder that this manager will obviously want. His intensity is really great. He can really take off players, and he can shoot outside the Tina's box area. And his 1-2 all one-touch football is really great. I like the way he reads the game, acts well in those tight spaces, line-breaking passes to the opponents or through into the final third. That's the player in Xavi Simons. So guys, your thoughts onto United targeting Xavi Simons are welcome in the comment section below. Rock and David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and we are going to be returning like in 2 hours or 3 hours from now to obviously drop you another story of Bruno Fernandes being named the player of the month again for the club of Manchester United. Bye bye.